last one, number 7. Saul's plane is 6 miles from the airport runway when he begins his descent from 14,000 feet. There are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. How far in miles does the plane actually travel in the air during its descent? Round your answer to the nearest mile. So, a couple things going on this one. So, it says the descent begins here. So, you could picture, like, we got our little bitty airplane up here. And he's going to start not just flying straight ahead anymore. He's going to start descending to get to the runway. So, this is where he's eventually going to land. So, this will be, like, where he touches down. So, we don't know how long he has to travel. But it says, and it's labeled in the picture, he's 6 miles from the airport runway. The 6 is a horizontal distance. Technically not in the triangle right now, but horizontally, I know any horizontal distance here is going to be 6 miles. And then how far in miles does the plane actually travel for the descent? That's going to be X. And you'll notice this length is already labeled even though it's kind of drawn far away. That's the 14,000 feet. Now, that's a slight issue here. There's miles. The question wants the answer in miles, but there's also feet. There's a couple ways to deal with this. I'm going to try to think of the least messy way to do it. I'm going to convert. So if you remember any of your science classes, when you convert, if it's a whole number, put it over 1 and then say, hey, let's get rid of feet. So I'm going to put it at the bottom so it cancels, and I'm going to put miles on top. And the problem tells me that 1 mile is the same thing as 5,280 feet. So this will get us into miles and get rid of the feet. Specifically into my calculator, I'm going to have to divide because the 5,280 is on the bottom. So I'm going to put 14,000 divided by 5,280. Now my calculator's spitting out a long decimal. So it's 2. I just dropped it. Hold on. 2.6515. I'm going to stop there. Miles. A little over 2.5 miles. Now, I'm not rounding this to the nearest mile because I'm not done with the problem. So I'm just going to keep a bunch of decimals to try and be somewhat precise with my answer. And then I'm going to try and find x. So what we usually do is we start with the right angle and identify which side is the hypotenuse. And it's x. So I'm trying to find the hypotenuse for this problem. But you'll also notice I have both legs already measured. 6 miles, 2.6515 miles. And there's no angle that I can be next to. There's no angle to be across from. I don't know what any of these angles are. And to be honest, I don't really care. We don't need it for this problem. So if you remember back to what you were doing on Monday and last Thursday, as long as you have 2 of your 3 sides in a right triangle, you can solve it by the Pythagorean theorem, where you square the 2 legs and add them up, set it equal to the third leg squared. The hypotenuse squared. So we already said the hypotenuse was x, so I'm just going to take the 6, that decimal I found, square it, and add on the 6 squared. So I'm going to square that plus the 6 squared. I'm getting about, if I could type it in correctly, I could tell you what I'm getting. I'm getting about 43.03 when I'm adding those together. So I didn't stop to write down what I got when I squared them. I just went ahead and typed this entire left-hand side into my calculator, and I got this number. Now, that's not my answer because that's x squared. The opposite of squaring a number is to square root a number. What, Eloise? What are you asking him? I'm pretty sure it's just a story. Please lay down. Okay, so this is what my calculator just gave me. And it says to the nearest mile. So this is like when I asked you earlier, is it closer to 6 or 7? This one's a little weirder, but think about if you had money. If you had $6.50 some odd cents, would you say it's closer to $6 or $7? this one is closer to 7. The 5 makes you round up. So we're going to say that's our final answer, about 7 miles to get to the runway.